in our therapy session with Sean, after the first episode here, a couple things I'd ask him. One would be, what had you bring back Ari? Was that your choice, or was that the Bachelor show's choice? Ari's an interesting person for you to bring back. Quite a contrast in personality styles, I think, between you and Ari. You're both serious, you're both thinkers, but Ari has one style and you certainly have a different style. Also, Emily picked Ari over you, so I didn't know if there was any animosity there, but it was nice to see you get over that. It seems like there was a good friendship and genuine, sincere collaboration between the two of you, so that was nice to see. How are you dealing with stress, Sean? There's going to be so much stress during the course of this season. Awesome situations. There's going to be time where you have to be referee between some of the women, as we see in future episodes, but also just dealing with the stress of breaking up with somebody and having a woman put their emotions out there for you, and you're not quite sure what to do with that. And that's a lot of responsibility, and you have a very nurturing, compassionate heart. So dealing with stress is going to be very important to get your proper sleep, proper rest, good exercise, but also have some people that can help advise you, that you can bounce things off of. Chris certainly is great with that, but if you have some other family members or personal people in your life to be able to connect to, that would be good. It was very interesting how you just sort of start giving out roses right off the bat there, even in the limousine part of the show. And so I didn't know whether that was something that made it easier for you to connect. Here's the action, here's the behavior that I really connected with, that I really liked, and I'm just going to give a rose immediately, because with 26 women, I don't really know if I'm going to remember who did this, who did what, when they did it. So as soon as I know something connected with my heart, I'm just going to honor that with a rose right off the bat. So that was a neat break of tradition that I think that makes the situation a lot easier. And that rose ceremony with 19 roses, that is a little overwhelming and difficult. So I like the way that you did that. I think breaking women's hearts is going to take a toll on you. I mean, there were 7 that you had to send home with this episode, and you see that start to chip away a little bit, and that's always going to be something that's difficult. So relying on your faith, relying on those important people around you to ground you, to help you know who you are, and that you're not a bad person just because you have to break up a relationship. Now, a question Sean might ask me is, well, how do I handle the breakup process? And I would just say, as he had mentioned, just be honest with them. Don't lead them on. Don't ever tell them anything more than you really believe, that you really think and feel. But try to be cautious. Try to err on the side of being slower in revealing what you like about them and how you feel about them, rather than too fast in that, maybe jumping the gun. So being honest, not leading them on in any way. And keep in mind that it's to their benefit, just like you found that Emily broke up with you. It was really to your benefit, because Emily really wasn't a good match for you, I don't believe. And I think you have realized that, as I saw in an Access Hollywood interview with you recently. But this is in their best benefit for them to find out now that you're not in their, going to be a part of their life. And for them to know that and to be able to send home now. And do your breakup, your communication with compassion and with the character that you have. Just be true to yourself. You're a great, caring, loving guy, compassionate guy. Just show that to them. I think that will help the process of the breakup go easier. Another question Sean might ask is, well, how do I interpret their brief interactions that I have with them? I have a couple things to throw out there. One is too much commitment or too much physicality right off the bat is a warning sign that they might have boundary problems, that they don't know healthy boundaries, they don't know what real clear boundaries are, and they're sort of jumping past that, maybe a little bit too impulsive, not recognizing of their own boundaries or your boundaries, and that doesn't bode well in the future as far as impulsivity and being able to honor boundaries, whether in relationship with you, with children you might have with them, or other relationships that you or they have. There's a psychologist named John Van Epp, and he came out with a book, How Not to Marry a Jerk. And he had 5 areas that are important in the progression of a relationship, and they are know a person, trust, that leads to relying on, that leads to a commitment, and that leads to physical touch. You never want to get too far ahead. You never want to let the next level be higher than the level before it. So again, know, trust, rely, commit, and touch. And so whenever a person is doing too much committing before they know or can trust or can rely on, that's a boundary violation. That's putting too much out there. And we saw in some of the limousine introductions that women were going to the commitment or the touching way before the knowing, relying, trusting process. So that's a warning sign. The other is whenever they show too little. I mean, I'd rather have them show too little than be way overboard too much. But whenever they're showing too little, you really don't get a chance to know them too much. So you have to dig a little bit more and take the time and energy and effort to dig. So don't rule them out immediately. They might have healthy boundaries and be cautious and be wanting to make sure they know what they're getting into. So don't hold that against them. Just explore that with them. And that's our session with Sean.